Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, I did the drawing and I've got the two winners of the 1 ounce silver coin. As you can see there on your, well, it's probably going to be on the left side of your screen, but it's the one with the Indian head on it. And the ½ ounce silver coin is the Liberty coin there, it's ½ ounce. Before I go ahead and divulge the winners, I wanted to go over something real quickly. A subscriber, I didn't jot down his name, but a subscriber nonetheless asked me if I can go over the notion of people being economic slaves. So I did a little bit of homework. I'm sure you can go online and find a lot more than what I found, but I think that what I found is enough so that you can either research it more if you want to, or make up your mind on whether we are or not. So first of all, a slave, per the dictionary, is a person who is excessively dependent upon or controlled by something. So for example, if you're a slave to drugs, you're very dependent on drugs and your behavior is controlled by the drugs. You know, so just to use an example, you know, I'm not trying to make that seem like it's like slavery, you know, back in the day when, you know, what we knew slavery as, okay, because it's not. But that's the definition per the dictionary. And a serf is a state of being a feudal laborer. And what's feudal mean? Feudalism is a dominant social system in which peasants are obliged to live on their lord's land and give him labor and produce in exchange for protection. Okay, so I just wanted to cover a few things in this subject, and I jotted down a number of taxes that we have to pay in order to do things. I consider taxes being theft, because everyone says paying taxes is your civil duty. It's like a social contract that you sign. But I never remember signing a contract saying that 40 to 50% of my wealth every year was supposed to be extracted from me so that someone can take it from me without my permission. Okay? So some people make contests that without your permission, saying, well, you freely give it up. Well, in a way, yes, but let me ask you something. If you don't pay your taxes, what's going to happen? Well, the first thing that will happen, more than likely, is that you'll get a letter from one of the alphabet agencies, i.e. the IRS, saying, hey, you owe this much taxes, pay us, right? And if you're like, no, I'm not going to pay that, well, the next thing that will happen is, more than likely, you'll get a knock at the door saying, hey, you need to pay me some taxes. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. Then you'll probably get a letter or a summons or a subpoena to go to court, because the IRS will take you to court to get the taxes that they say you owe them, even though you never signed a contract with them. And the judge will more than likely say, hey, you owe these taxes. And you say, no, I'm not going to do that. Then eventually what's going to happen is that instead of getting a knock on the door, your door will probably be knocked down and you taken away and put in an 8x8 cell because you didn't want to pay taxes. So that's why I say that taxes are theft, because they're not given up voluntarily. And if you don't give them up, you're going to end up in a cell eventually, or your life is going to end up being ruined. Okay? Plain and simple. Unfortunately, it is that way. Okay? So here are some of the taxes that we pay every day, and most of us don't even know we're paying it when we pay it. Okay, there's an air transportation tax. Now, remember that if you didn't pay an air transportation tax today, you might have paid it, just not knowing. Okay? Because a lot of these taxes, someone else has to pay them, like a business may have to pay them, And then they're going to take those expenses and pass them on to you, the customer. Okay, so understand that when I go through some of these, okay? So air transportation taxes, building permit taxes, business registration fees, and only because it doesn't say taxes and it says fees, that is a tax, all right? You are being taxed. They just changed the name to fee so that it can sound better, okay? Capital gains tax, cigarette tax, court fees, disposal fees, dog license taxes, driver's license fees, employer Medicare taxes, employer Social Security taxes, environmental fees, federal corporate taxes, federal unemployment taxes, fishing license taxes, food and beverage license fees, franchise business taxes, fuel taxes, gift taxes, highway access fee, hotel taxes, hunting license taxes, import taxes or tariffs. In case some of you don't know, tariffs are a form of tax. For example, if you take a look at this lumber tariff that was passed last year in 2017 for lumber coming from Canada, here in Alaska, before they passed that tariff on Canadian lumber, in Alaska, we used to have pretty good lumber taxes. After they passed that tariff, we used to have pretty good lumber prices. After that tariff was passed, that any lumber coming from Canada had to pay a tariff fee. The lumber prices in Alaska literally went up 50 to 100%. For the exact same wood that I was getting the year before, I was paying 50 to 100% more for the exact same wood. So tariffs, I'm sorry, don't really make it better. Because what happens is, let's say that now there are a whole bunch of lumber yards in the U.S. because of that tariff. And they're selling lumber also. Well, they automatically get to sell their lumber at a higher price than what they would have originally sold it. Because now they really don't have any competition. As long as they sell that lumber a tiny bit less than what the lumber coming in from Canada is, they're gonna pretty much have a monopoly on the market, because people are gonna pay the least amount of money they can for something unless there's a extravagant difference in the quality. Okay, so when you look at tariffs, it's spouted that it's to build American jobs, but really what tariffs are hurting is hurting the average middle class and poor citizen. They are the ones that end up paying more. They are the ones that end up being affected the most by tariffs. Now, all these big lumber companies that are making all this money, they're just making extra money now. We're not getting any better quality lumber. Actually, the quality of the lumber that I've been getting lately is actually less quality, lower quality than what it was before. But we'll leave it there on tariffs. IRA early withdrawal taxes, like if you have an IRA or a 401k or something like that. If you take the money out early, they're gonna fine you and you're gonna pay an extra tax. License plate fees, luxury taxes, marriage license taxes, parking meters, property taxes, recreational vehicle taxes, sales tax, self-employment tax, sports stadium taxes. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, those big-ass sports centers you guys see in stadiums, 99% of the cases where those stadiums exist, the community around there ended up paying for at least half of it to get built with tax money. Tanning taxes, literally a tax imposed on people that want to get a tan. And this was an Obamacare tax on tanning services. Telephone state and local taxes, tire recycling fees, traffic fines, well permit fees. And there are two taxes that I consider the two most evil and worst taxes that there can be. The second worst tax, in my opinion, is the inheritance tax, where if you inherit something from a family member, you have to pay tax on that. When everything that family member is giving to you, they've already paid taxes on the funds or the money that they use to buy that. So for example, let's say I build a house and it's mine and I spent $100,000 building that house. And then if I die in my will, I leave it to my son. Now he's going to have to pay taxes on the value of that home. Even though every penny that I used to build my home, I had already paid taxes on. That to me is the second worst tax of all. The worst tax of all, in my opinion, is inflation, because most of us don't even know we are being taxed through inflation and don't really have a say as to how the newly printed money is spent. Okay, so for those of you that don't know what inflation is, I've covered it in another one of my videos, but inflation is when the government by fiat, by just saying go ahead and do it, when they say, hey, go ahead and print up $500 billion because we have a $500 billion deficit this year. So the money is printed out of thin air. And in doing so, the money supply is diluted because the more of something you have, the less it's worth. So inflation, every year, all that inflation, whenever you hear a banker say, well, we need this 2% inflation every year in order for our economy to stay good or whatever. What they mean is that they need to print at least 2% every year of the money supply. That's what they're saying. So that means that every year your money is being diluted by 2%. So I went ahead and I worked up a couple spreadsheets, and I wanted to show you guys what 2% inflation, which I think it's more than 2% inflation. Because if you look at what we spend every year and what our deficit is, for example, last year we spent roughly $3.3 trillion, all right? Give or take a few million or billion, right? And we took in 3.3 trillion. We spent 4 trillion or 3.9 trillion. So let's make it easy. Let's say that we took in 3.5 trillion and let's say we spent 4 trillion. So we spent 500 billion more than what we took in, let's just say. Well, 500 billion divided into 4 trillion is 8. And 8 divided into 100 is 12.5. So to me, last year, there wasn't 2% inflation. There was about at least 10% inflation and not more. And ask yourselves, when you go to the store to buy stuff, is it only about 2% more this year than what it was last year? Okay? Now, don't mistaken the inflation in prices as inflation, okay? Inflating prices is a symptom of inflation, all right? So when a box of Cheerios goes up by 10%, it's not that the Cheerios got any better. It's that the inflating of the money supply made your dollars less valuable. So now you need more dollars to buy that same Cheerios. Okay, so if you take $10,000 and you inflate it by 2% a year for 40 years, your $10,000 would be, oh, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. If you take $1 and you inflate it by 2% a year for every year for 40 years, that $1 is going to end up buying you less than 50% of what it could buy you that first year. So at the end of 40 years, at 2% inflation, it's going to take you $2.16 to purchase the same stuff that you were able to purchase with $1. That's at 2% inflation, okay? And remember, I personally think that inflation is near 10%. But I did another one at 5% inflation, okay? Let's say that the government is kind of telling us the truth, but they're a little off, and instead of 2-point-something%, it's 5%. Well, in 40 years, it's going to take you $6.5 to buy the same thing that $1 would buy you in the first year, okay? And some people would say, well, what about if I take my money and I invest it and get, let's say, 6% for 40 years? Wouldn't that beat inflation? Well, I went ahead and drafted up. If you take $10,000 and put it away for 40 years at 6% compounded interest, at the end of that 40 years, you would have $21,647. But remember now, you have to pay taxes on that, right? So taxes on that would be roughly 20 to 25%. So you would end up with $19,800. Okay, you would end up with $19,800. And I'm sorry, I messed up on the number. I'm really messing these numbers up. The 10,000 over 40 years at 6% would be 26,000. After taxes, you would end up with $19,800. That is actually less in purchasing power than what the $10,000 was when you first started. Okay, so inflation is the worst tax of all, I think, because most people don't know that it's happening, and they just wonder, oh, why did the price of milk go up? Oh, why has the price of coffee gone up? And they say, oh, it's inflation, without even knowing what true inflation really is. So that's all I have to say about that, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know, it's kind of tough. This would be a 1 hour, 2 hour, you know, episode or, you know, video if I went into all the little things. But like I said from the beginning, I created this channel to try to help to wake people up, because there are a lot of other channels out there that specify or that are specifically made for these things, like for finances, you know, for cleaning guns, for all that kind of stuff. You know, in this channel, I want to be able to whet your beak. I want you to get a little taste of a subject matter so that you can have some interest and do more research yourself. Okay? Like I said before, you know, people don't even know nowadays that the money that you deposit in a bank is no longer legally yours. A depositor is no longer a depositor. You're a creditor to that bank. So if that bank fails, your money is not insured by the FDIC. Okay? You may want to believe it is, but it's not. The FDIC is extremely underfunded. They probably have less than 1% of the money that they need to bail out the banks if they went under. Okay? So think about it. You probably end up getting 1%, 1 penny or 2 pennies to the dollar of your money that you have in the bank if the bank went under. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen, because the video is starting to run a little long. If you guys have any more questions on that, let me know. If you wanted me to make a specific video about maybe just the Federal Reserve or about silver, precious metals alone, where I can just research one little thing, you know, about it and cover it in a 15, 20-minute video, I'd be more than happy to do that. But there's a lot of information out there. I just hope that somebody, at least 1 or 2 people, wakes up, and, you know, I hope that all of you wake up to that fact. You know, most of you probably already know what I'm telling you. But, you know, spread it around, you know, reach one, teach one, and repeat. You know, that's the way it should be. Reach a person, teach them, and then do it over again. Okay. Hey, a few shout outs for some subscribers. Man, we've gotten a lot of subscribers in the last couple of days. Thank you very much, guys. This is pretty awesome. So here's a shout out to a few new subscribers. Harlew123, Kevin Drover, Michelle Catret, Twila Rogers, The Gun, Stonecrest Farms, Dee Moore, Mama Minova, or Mama Vinova, Granny the Great, Dan Ped, Austin Redmond, Yami Bravo, Glassmasher, Hobbyist Prepper, Paul Blaine, Michael Hill, Mike Seagrave, I'm in the Mood. That's the name of the subscriber. I'm in the mood, okay? Competent K, Rebecca LeBrake, Victoria Melendez, Kim Hill, Stone Throw Preps, Kim Cowan, Annette Rose, CM, Cheryl Sigler, Canadian Dreamer, Jerry and Linda's Plays, welcome all, Paula Staley, Andrea Jukes, Rural Paradise, Caroline Schisler, 2BA Vampire, 2BA Vampire, To Be a Vampire, okay, got it. Sarah Blinman, And those are all of our new subscribers in the last couple of days. Thank you all very much for subscribing. Please provide questions, comments, participate. That's what makes this really fun. Man, I'll tell you what, guys. I've had so much fun reading the comments that you guys leave. I mean, I've actually learned a lot in the last few days just reading your guys' comments. And you keep giving me these ideas, man. This is going to be a lot of fun doing this. So I really appreciate everyone that's participating. One last thing, guys. So this is the deal. I love to give away stuff, okay? But I'm not rich. So I have a Steemit account, okay? For those of you that don't know what Steemit is a decentralized social media platform. What it does is it lets people put content up, and it's not censored like YouTube. I do believe that they have some community policies, like you can't put up pornography or any videos of people, getting killed and stuff, which I agree with. All right, I don't want to see that kind of stuff, and I'm sure that most of the people in that community don't want to see it, so that's why they don't allow that stuff. So, but the good thing about Steemit is number one, it's free. All you have to do is open up a Steemit page, which is very easy, takes a few minutes. And number two is that when you post content up there, if your followers or if the viewers give it a thumbs up, you can actually earn Steam dollars that you can eventually convert into actual fiat dollars, depending on how much you have. So if you would all get onto Steemit and follow me, that would be so awesome, because it would really help the channel out a lot. Like I said before, I really do not want to monetize any videos. I don't care. Even if I have 1,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 trillion subscribers, which I never will, but even if that were the case, I don't want to monetize any videos on YouTube, because I want my voice to be my own. Okay? But on Steemit, it's different. Content providers actually earn a few pennies for every upvote, and I would be able to use that money to do more giveaways. So I am going to leave my Steemit link there for you guys. And what I'm going to do is, once I have 200 followers on Steemit, I'm going to give away another ounce of silver. Okay, so at 200 followers on Steemit, I'm going to give away another 100 ounces. And so if you go to Steemit and you upvote me, and you follow me and upvote me, once I get to 200 followers on Steemit, I'll do another giveaway. And then hopefully by that time, I'll be able to use whatever few pennies I'm earning off of Steemit to keep giving giveaways. Because I really want to keep doing giveaways. I have so many ideas on all these giveaways I want to do. And it'd be awesome to be able to give you guys back. And all you have to do is just go to Steemit and click a button. Literally, as easy as that. You go to Steemit and click a button. It's as easy as that. So let's get to it. So, sorry about that. Our coins fell down here. I got a little too excited, I think. That's the backside of them. So for our 1 ounce coin giveaway, which is the one that you can see the upside down buffalo there, that one is going to go to Jolene Grimm. Okay? Jolene Grimm. Grimm. Okay? The half ounce coin is going to go to WLR1006. Okay, so WLR1006. Guys, I am going to leave my email address in the comments. Go ahead and email me your address, and you're going to have to email me your name, so I can mail it to you, and your address, and I'm going to get this out to you here within the next 1 or 2 days, depending on how fast you guys email me back, okay? One thing that I would like to tell you is that I will not use your name or your address or your information for anything except for mailing you this package, okay? If you want me to delete the email you send me with your information, once I mail you the packet and I've confirmed that you've received it, I will. Just let me know. Okay, having said that, I am way over on time, guys. Once again, thank you so much. I am having a great time, and I truly hope that you are all getting some kind of value from the videos that I'm putting up. A couple more days is payday, So I have a payday prep coming up for you guys, and it's going to be a really good one. I think this is going to be my cheapest payday prep to date. All right, so I hope you guys stick around for that one. Goodbye to everyone. You all have a good night. Have a good rest of the week. Many blessings to you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.